Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever the case may be for you, and welcome. We want to say thank you for joining us, whether it's live or in no time, no space, for this IKoK Chat. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Essence Ka, founder and one of the Krones of the International Koalition of Krones. I'm a spiritual growth guide and awakening facilitator, an Akashic record energy reader, a Sui Reiki master teacher, and master Metatronic numerologist, and a whole list of things. So we're just going to leave it there. And we're very honored that you joined us for this chat. I'd like to take this moment to ask the other two Krones to say hello and introduce herself. And Ariane, would you like to go first?
I can do that, yes. Hi, good day from Australia. I'm Ariane, and my list of skills and abilities is nowhere near as long as Essence's, but there's a reasonable amount. I'm a Reiki practitioner, holistic counselor, meditation therapist, EFT, TFT, master tapping, whatever it is, and a whole ton of other things as well. Welcome you. I am so excited about today. We're really stepping into new fields and I love it. It's great. So hello from Australia and over to Kobaha.
Good evening, everyone. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Kobaha. I live in northern Arizona near Sedona. I'm an intuitive spiritual facilitator and crystal therapist. Welcome. We've got so much to talk about tonight. And if I was you, have a pen and paper handy, because some information I'm sure you're going to find interested. Have a good one. Over to you, Essence.
All right. Thank you, Kobaha. Yes, like Kobaha mentioned, we do suggest that for this, you know, a pen and paper, something you might want to take notes with. For those of you who are going to join us no time, no space, and be watching the recording of this chat, pause it right here. Go get your pen and paper and come back. Okay, so to begin, we're going to begin this evening like we do every chat by taking a moment to come together and create the energy space in which we're going to be working and sharing knowledge and information for this chat. And in doing so, we bring ourselves into a centered state of stillness to connect energetically with each other. And I'm going to share Metatronic numerology IM keyword phrases to help us center ourselves and create this sacred space, this sacred circle of space in which we're going to be working. So if you would just take a deep breath and relax and center yourself. The first IM phrase I want to share is, excuse me, belongs to the 2266 dual frequency. We call this the heart of the IKoK. It says, I am the master of divine balance. Through the remembrance of the singing of the sacred cosmic song of self, I ignite creation of new realities. I am that which rebalances and heals. The second Metatronic numerology IM keyword phrase is that of the 2277 dual frequency. We call this the four cornerstones of the work of the IKoK. I am the form of the sacred structure of collective reality known through the awakened divine rational mind. I build reality upon the foundation whose cornerstones are honor, integrity, responsibility, an expansion of sacred perspective. I am the master builder of collective galactic realities. Would also like to share and let it be said that I, Krone Essence Ka, we, the Krones of the IKoK, hold no answers that can be considered 100%, nothing finalized. What we do hold are perspectives and possibilities. What we share, the information we share, the teachings we share, once shared, become potentials. And with that, we're going to begin this chat. Okay, wow. I'm trying not to make too much noise shuffling paper here. This chat we have titled Expanding Your Comfort Zone from the Inside Out. It's a metamorphosis. What we're talking about here, what we want to share about tonight is expanding on what we mean when we say you cannot separate the physical from the spiritual. We want to look at how in this journey, especially in the belief system that brings us all together, okay, we tend to really focus the vast majority of the time on what we think of, perceive as spiritual beliefs, spiritual workings, okay? For lack of a better word in the moment, there's just so many terms we could choose there to describe, but I think you all know what I'm really talking about. And in that, we tend to, even if it's just subconsciously, and I've been on this journey, on this path, in this belief system a long time, okay? Over 45 years. And I've seen a lot of changes. And not all of them good, I'll be honest. Not all of them have been good. Not all of them have been beneficial to the individual in this journey and to the collective as a whole. Okay, now a vast majority of them have, don't get me wrong, but everything cycles, everything flows in cycles. And if we're not doing that, we're going to stagnate. And I'll be honest, from my perspective and a lot of things, I have seen a lot of stagnation occur in this belief system. And this year, for those of you who follow our work, you're, I'm sure, very aware of our last chat was our 1-year lunar anniversary of the IKoK. And that occurred on the Scorpio full moon, which is the planetary crown chakra opening. Well, believe it or not, interestingly enough, in 2020 and on our first chat, with that Scorpio full moon and the planetary crown chakra opening, it was actually on May 7th, which is the date of this chat. At least it is for the vast majority of us. Now for Ariane and a lot of others on the other side of the planet, a little ahead of us, it's a day ahead. But I find that interesting in itself, and I just kind of wanted to share that little bit of trivia. Is it relevant? Nah, it's just sharing. Okay, but we're going to be looking at information that we've been given as the IKoK for really working in this second year as the IKoK. And what we're seeing right now is the coming together piece by piece, bit by bit, of almost like what we would call a year-long course of study, if you will. All right. And that study is going to be focused on saying, okay, it's time we really focus on the physical aspect of this spiritual journey, because you cannot separate the physical from the spiritual. And so in a very simplified way of saying it, don't get me wrong, there's going to be plenty of spiritual energy information occur. It's not that. But instead of, to say it simplified, how we're seeing it, instead of focusing on the spiritual and then just assuming, if you will, that the physical aspects will fall into place, if you will, we're going to come about this from the other direction. We're going to look at this from the physical first, and we're going to allow the expansion of the spiritual and the spiritual growth to follow when we focus on the spiritual. Because once again, we're going to, over time, over these next several chats, over this next year, we're going to really look at What does it really mean? What are we really saying when we say you cannot separate the physical from the spiritual? Okay. With that, I want to go ahead and share two more I am keyword phrases. These were I am keyword phrases, and I'm just going to read these, and then I'm going to turn this over to Kabaha to share information, okay? These I am keyword phrases came in, and they're very significant to tonight's chat. They actually came to my attention. They were brought to my attention, let's put it that way, as significant in what we're going to be talking about tonight. So let's put them out there and let's start and let's see where we go. The first one is the 677 dual frequency, and it says, I am just as I am. I am the true essence of all creation. I am. Kara Satama Kara. And that last part is just in the language of Lemuria, how you say, I am the true essence of all creation. I am. So once again, I am just as I am. I am the true essence of all creation. I am. Kara Satama Kara. The second one I want to share is the 611 dual frequency. And it says, I am the illuminated truth of spiritual responsibility, and I radiate this truth for all to behold. One more time. I am the illuminated truth of spiritual responsibility, and I radiate this truth for all to behold. Now, you may not see it right here and now, but that frequency, that 611 dual frequency, has a direct connection in the work and the focus of the expansion of the heart chakra and the high heart chakra. Grinning yet, are we, Kabaha? This came in or was brought to my attention, these two frequencies, literally in less than an hour before we began this chat to be shared. So I would like now to turn this over to Kabaha and let her share what she has to share this evening. Thank you, Kabaha.
You're welcome, Essence. Yes, very much connected to the high heart chakra, what I'm going to share with you. But before we diving in deep into the benefits of activating and strengthening the high heart chakra, I would like to share some basic information on the 7 main chakras. As I mentioned in the last chat, it is necessary that the 7 main chakras are aligned in preparation for the high heart chakra work. Chakras are energy centers. When a chakra is not functioning properly, it can trigger physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health issues. So let's start. The first chakra is located at the base of the spine. It is called the root chakra or the base chakra. This chakra stimulates physical activity, exercise, assists in keeping us grounded and present, influences our immune system. It is also about security in the physical world. This chakra manages the body's survival needs, food, shelter, and protection. Now, I'm going to share as well with you tonight, for each chakra, I'm going to share 2 stones or crystals I've selected. Of course, you may be using others, but tonight for the root chakra, I've selected red jasper and smoky quartz. So that's those 2. Now, the second chakra is located below the belly button. It's the sacral chakra. It's the foundation of the emotional body. It's the source of creativity, emotions, and pleasure. It is also influences our sexuality, intimacy, and ability to be social with others. It's also about procreation. The crystals I've selected for the sacral chakra are carnelian, orange calcite. Now, chakra number 3. It's located below the rib cage. It's the solar plexus. It's the foundation of the mental body. It helps us with sensing vibration and essences from people, places, and things. It is our personal power center with our sense of identity, self-esteem, confidence, our ambition, our ability to manifest and prosper. So for the solar plexus, I've got citrine and yellow jasper. Now, the 4th chakra, which is situated in the center of the chest, is the heart chakra. It's all about love, experiencing it, sharing it. It also governs forgiveness, empathy, compassion, and trust. The 2 crystals are actually selected. I've got rose quartz and amazonite. Now, chakra number 5 is situated at the center of the throat, which is the throat chakra. It influences self-expression, communication, artist expression, authenticity, self-awareness, and honesty. The 2 crystals I've selected for this one, turquoise and blue lace agate. Now, number 6, situated in the middle of the forehead, the 3rd eye, is the foundation of our psychic and thinking abilities. It helps us with listening and honoring our intuition and imagination. The 2 crystals I've actually selected for this one, lapis lazuli, labradorite. And finally, number 7, it's situated at the top of the head. This is the crown chakra. It's the foundation of our spiritual body, and it links us to higher guidance. Now, the 2 crystals I selected are clear quartz and amethyst. And I want to say I had a bit of a challenge here because I also use amethyst on my 3rd eye. So you can use this one too. Okay. Now, in general, it's important to maintain our chakras at all time, including the high heart chakra. And when I'm saying that, I know sometimes we're working specifically on the chakra to activate or strengthen a chakra. But let's face it, we're human beings, and sometimes we're going to feel unbalanced. And when you start working with energy, you're going to understand where is the problem and which chakra you need to work on. But I have different methods that I use regularly, and I want to share them with you. The first one is colors. Allow your own intuition to guide you in choosing what colors to wear. Our energy centers all have a particular frequency that resonate with certain colors that carry a similar frequency. For example, if you are not feeling secure or grounded, maybe your root chakra is not in balance with the rest of your energy centers. Maybe during this time, you may feel drawn to wearing red. Whether that be outer clothes or underwear, this will help filter the color that you need to help to balance this particular energy center. Now, number 2, another important one, food. Adjust your diet to take in more food of the same color of the chakra you are trying to balance. Using the root chakra as an example once again, try adding more red-colored foods to your diet, i.e. tomatoes, radishes, watermelons, peppers, pomegranates. Now, another way of doing it is to use sound. Just as color has a frequency, so too does sound. Our energy centers resonate to specific musical notes. I use a quick 7 chakra tune-up crystal singing bowls meditation. You can find it on YouTube from the Inner Lotus music channel. So I repeat, the name of that meditation is called Quick 7 Chakra Tune-Up. It's about 11 minutes. Crystal Singing Bowl meditation, and you can find it on YouTube from the Inner Lotus music channel. Now, number 3, and finally, an important one, visualization. Visualization is quite possibly the most powerful tool of all. Sitting in meditation, visualize drawing energy up from the center of the earth and cleansing each energy center with a relevant color. Now, let's move on to the high heart chakra. The high heart chakra is the bridge between the main 7 chakras of the physical and the transpersonal chakras, which are the soul star chakra, the Zil chakra, and the earth star chakra. Going back to the information I shared on the IKoK Chat in September 2020 on the planetary soul star chakra activation, Spirit showed me a picture of a brand new house. This is a great analogy representing the process of building the newest version of who we really are, our true self. The foundation of the new house represents the work on the high heart chakra that is necessary before starting future energy work. The high heart chakra is located in the upper chest, between the heart and the throat chakra. This chakra is associated with the thymus gland, one of the earliest glands that develop in the fetus in the womb. This gland is related to the immune system and has within it the patterning for your DNA and your karmic design for this lifetime, including past life information. This chakra represents the bridge between the emotions and your intellect. It is where you find the thymus gland, and it is the primary gland that aids the immune system. The benefits to the physical body by assisting the chakra to begin to open up and its energy to expand. This chakra governs the immune system and its vibration helps during infections. The energy helps to improve the general well-being of the physical body. The energy from this chakra may flow up into the throat chakra, where it may help with communication and loss of voice. This may be especially valuable if you have not been expressing ideas about issues that is now time to let go of. By voicing your true feelings, you may heal ongoing problems within the throat. As you work with this chakra energy, you will find that you will begin to live your life more in line with what your higher self desired for you. This relates to what you planned before you came here to this earth in this incarnation. If you have wondered what your life purpose is, working with the energy of the high heart chakra may help you to find out exactly what that is. This is a chakra that has been neglected in the past, but now, during this collective dark night of the soul, we have the opportunity to expand and activate this chakra in order to raise our vibration and do the work we are to do. Remember that activating our high heart chakra is about tapping into the energy of balance. We need to balance our human self with our divine self. It is part of a process of letting go of our old self and stepping into this newest version of who we really are, our true self. The high heart chakra is an important area of the body because its energy is extremely helpful to everyone who wants to ensure that the way they communicate is compassionate towards others. The high heart chakra connects the emotions of divine love, compassion with detachment, truth, forgiveness, and release of fear with the throat chakra where language originates, allowing us to speak from the heart. As I mentioned in the last chat, there are many crystals that we can use for the high heart chakra. And I mentioned apophyllite, kunzite, green kyanite, or green calcite, among others. If you are interested in doing the work on activating, strengthening the high heart chakra, I highly suggest you work, if possible, with an Arkansas clear quartz, but any other clear quartz will do. Once someone asked me, as a crystal therapist, if I had to choose one crystal, which one would it be? Without hesitation, I replied, clear quartz. Quartz is one of the most abundant compounds found in the Earth's surface. The composition of the Earth is 1/3 quartz crystal. Clear quartz is an abundant mineral mainly found in Arkansas and Brazil. Arkansas is the largest deposit of natural quartz crystal in the world and the largest Atlantean generator. Clear quartz is so versatile. It is known as the master healer and will amplify energy and thought as well as the effect of other crystals. It absorbs, stores, releases, and regulates energy. Clear quartz draws off negative energy of all kinds. It balances the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. It cleanses the organs and subtle bodies and acts as a deep soul cleanser, connecting the physical dimension with the mind. Clear quartz increases psychic abilities. It aids concentration and unlocks memory. It stimulates the immune system and brings the body into balance. Clear quartz harmonizes all the chakras and aligns the subtle bodies. But that's not it. You are likely using clear quartz in your everyday life without even realizing it. Quartz is one of the most commonly used crystals in modern times. It has the unique ability to convert electrical energy into mechanical energy and vice versa. Basically, if any mechanical pressure is applied to a quartz crystal, a voltage will appear across it, which means it can convert mechanical forces into electrical signals. This is known as the piezoelectric effect. The effect can also be used in reverse by applying an electrical charge to the crystal and converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. This property allows the quartz crystal to receive and process energy and then transmit the energy vibrations outward in a precise pattern. It is being used in technology, ultrasound, radios, transistors, and even digital watches, to name a few. They're also used to power the amplifiers in electric guitars, microphones, and most digital electrical devices. They're also used in every computer, tablets, cell phones, and even televisions. Another benefit of quartz crystal is that they can produce a small electric charge, creating a small spark, which can be used to ignite gas. They are used in many gas-powered appliances, such as ovens, grills, heaters, and even lighters. It's obvious that clear quartz is the perfect crystal to help us activating, strengthening our high heart chakra. If you are interested to do the work on the high heart, first I will advise you to hold your clear quartz in one or both hands as you close your eyes and focus on your breath. Connect to its energy. What do you feel? Any sensations? You may receive messages, you may see an image. Then visualize the connection of the breathing with the high heart chakra, seeing the high heart expanding, strengthening, and the energy from your high heart going up to the throat chakra. I would also suggest you keep a journal. One benefit of keeping a journal is that with time, it can give you some insight concerning your work on your high heart chakra. You will see a change over time, and this will inspire you to continue this work. A journal may help you realize that this particular work influences your daily life in positive ways. The high heart chakra is the most important chakra point on the path to physical health, to spirituality and enlightenment. Remember, we cannot separate the physical from the spiritual. It is time to expand our comfort zone in the sacred work we do on self, and especially how that work on self will benefit the collective consciousness of humanity. Over to you, Essence.
Thank you very much, Kabaha. Very wonderful information. I have some things I want to share here before we move on. Some notes here. As you were sharing things that came forward and things from even the other day when we were working. Okay, just going back to what Kabaha talked about with the 7 chakras. Okay, the 7 or the 7 main chakras of the physical body. Okay, the root chakra is that's about our physical safety. The sacral chakra, you know, these are simplified things, information that just came forward that I want to share. The sacral chakra, procreation. We know that the solar plexus is also known as the pit of the stomach. Okay, that's the solar plexus is with the collective right now is really in where the collective consciousness of humanity is currently existing at. And that is within the solar plexus chakra. That's why our work and the work that people like us do is so important right now, because it's all about, and it has been for several decades actually, but it's becoming more and more relevant and more vital that we really stay focused on this and understand what's going on. Because the collective consciousness of humanity, global society, exists in the 3rd chakra right now, the vast majority. Okay, what that means then, and when you understand that, okay, the solar plexus, that is that's the power center. Okay, and this is actually where energy is most easily stolen from you. Okay, so when the solar plexus is weak, not in alignment with the other chakras, either too strong or too weak, you have a weak spot. It's very easy to steal power from you. Here's an example that I share. Okay, anytime you get into an argument or get upset or get mad or whatever, you know, what do? What happens? First thing that happens, you cross them arms. What you're doing is you're actually protecting your solar plexus chakra. If someone makes you mad and you're like getting this mode, it's because there's an energy struggle going on. All right. It is the easiest place to steal your personal energy and power from you is through the solar plexus. Now think about that on the scale of global society and the interactions in daily life. All right. This is where the collective is currently existing from. We're working on, stating this all simply, helping the collective to move into existing and working from the heart chakra. That's the next phase up. Okay. That's the next part of this journey for the collective. It's beginning to happen. We're seeing it more and more. All right. But we're still in that process. None of this stuff happens overnight. Most of it doesn't even happen in a single lifetime. We have to understand that. We have to accept that. And we have to know, just keep doing the work. Okay. Don't get, what's the word I'm looking for here? Anyway, discouraged. There, that's the word. Okay. So that's a little bit about the solar plexus chakra. I want to give one really easy and the best advice that I can give anybody, as far as I'm concerned, about the solar plexus chakra. When you are in a situation, whatever it may be in your daily life, and you feel that pull on the solar plexus, okay, whether it's with another individual or just around a situation, you know, a lot of times, especially in work situations, there's a lot of that. Okay. If you understand that the best thing that you can do, the reason that the other individuals are trying to take your energy is because they feel they need it for survival. okay? They don't understand that, and we need to understand this because we do the same thing if we don't understand what's going on, okay? There's enough energy to go around. It's an unlimited source, is an unlimited supply of energy, of divine unconditional love energy, as we call it, okay? So anytime this power struggle begins and you're a part of it, especially, all right, all you have to do is an easy visualization. You visualize at arm's length, I know you can't see that, but arm's length above the head, okay, a sun, a solar disk, okay? This is your visualization for source energy. And you simply begin allowing and pulling that energy down from source energy through your Sushumna channel, that main channel in the body, through the crown, down through the third eye, through that Sushumna to the solar plexus chakra. Okay. And from there, okay, you allow it to feel, first of all, your entire form, your entire body, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, all of your bodies. All right. Once you have done that, then you begin literally radiating it out front and back and even to the sides. It can be circular, but we most normally think of it this way, especially if we're in a face-to-face interaction with someone else that is pulling our energy out of us. Okay. This source energy, just let it flow. Give them all the energy they want. You're not giving them your energy. All you're doing is channeling source energy to them. You do that in the middle of an argument and you watch how fast it's over. I promise you. Okay? It's very simple technique, but very effective. All right. Next, high heart. We're talking about, okay, all of the chakras are associated with organs that are very important, to the body, like Kabaha was talking about, keeping us healthy. But the high heart is the thymus. It is in charge of our immune system. The high heart is compassion with detachment, unconditional love. Okay, it is a higher frequency of gratitude, of unconditional love, all of these things than is even of the heart, of compassion. A lot of you have probably read an article I wrote years ago about the difference between the compassion of the heart and the high heart. If you haven't, go to my website, look it up, just put in compassion with detachment keywords, and it'll bring you to it. Okay, couple of things here. Physically, all right, when we work with, activate, balance, and strengthen the high heart and expand the high heart chakra, we're building a stronger immune system, literally, physically. Remember, this is about physical work. We're doing the physical stuff. You cannot separate the physical from the spiritual, all right? When you EFT, like Ariane works with, okay? One of the best ways to start activating and getting the high heart going is tapping. You use these three fingers, just like this, and you tap on the thymus. The thymus is, here's the throat, here's the heart, halfway between, okay? Gently, don't hurt yourself, don't bruise yourself, all right? Gently tap for a couple of minutes on the high heart. That's going to help activate it. That's going to stimulate your thymus gland, which strengthens your immune system. Okay? You cannot separate the physical from the spiritual. That's what we're going to be doing this year in lots of different ways. Okay. Because we know gratitude, the other two things that you're going to be really focusing on, okay, if you're wanting to work with this as us with the IKoK this year and this course, because like I said early on, we're seeing that we're being led, literally a basically year-long course is being laid out, okay, and we're going to go through it step by step. So if you're ready to work with us, hey, we're more than happy to have you work with us, because the more the merrier and the more the better. the more we affect and effect the collective. All right. Gratitude and mindfulness. We'll be looking at those deeper in subsequent chats. Gratitude and mindfulness, okay, help strengthen the immune system because they come from the high heart. Gratitude and mindfulness. They literally, okay, think about it this way. Even mainstream doctors will tell you, what do they do if you go to the doctor and you're sick and you're stressed out and you're, oh my God, I'm having anxiety. Okay, they're like, okay, we got to get your stress levels down. It's going to kill you. They know, mainstream doctors will tell you, stress will kill you, physically kill you. Okay, so gratitude and mindfulness, tapping on the thymus, activating the physical gland, not just the energetic high heart, but the physical thymus gland. Okay? All of these things help reduce stress. When your stress is reduced, your immune system is boosted. You cannot, I'm going to say this till you want to hit me in the next year. I'm going to say this so many times. You cannot separate the physical from the spiritual. Okay? I'm going to drill that into you. Okay. Let's see. Other information. That looks like that's for the next chat. I'm going to come back and talk about why we are recommending and where that information came from about the Arkansas clear quartz crystal. Let me just look at some other notes I have here. We're actually going to be giving, associated with this year-long course that we're basically starting, we're going to be, we're joyfully calling it homework. In other words, we're going to be leaving you at the end of each chat with, okay, this is what we're going to be doing between now and the next chat. And this is what we would like you to be doing if you want to be working with us. And in doing this, it's going to help you, help you, help you. Okay? And when you help you, you help the collective. All right. I do want to say, now this was interesting, and this actually came in when Kabaha, one of my guides known as Tutilaron, who is an Atlantean scientist, he actually said that, okay, when Kabaha was talking about quartz and the piezoelectric and sound, okay, also being very powerful. And we remember 2020, the year humanity goes galactic. We've talked about that, what that means. 2021 is the year of mastering sound cymatics. Okay, so it's about consciously creating reality through the use of sound. This is interesting. I'll get some more information on this, but I'm going to share this right here. As at Tutilaron actually said that coming soon to a planet near you. Let's put it that way. We already talked about, Kabaha talked about the piezoelectric, okay, qualities of clear quartz crystal, of quartz crystal. All right, and about the pressure, when you actually put pressure on it, okay, and mechanical pressure and how it goes back and forth. A new technology, or an expansion on a rather new technology, is going to really take off in the next year or two, and that is quartz with sound. In other words, sound being the pressure, because then we change the frequency. I'll get some more information on that from Tutilaron. Actually, hang on. He said to, I need to go work with some singing crystals. Okay. Okay, that's all I see there, except for, I'll tell you what, I'm feeling led to go ahead now and let Ariane share what she has to share. And then I'm going to come back and talk into some greater extent I have one more thing, Ariane, about why we're recommending the use of the Arkansas clear quartz crystals with this work. But also one thing I heard too, Kabaha, when you were sharing about the stones for the throat that you were recommending, and you recommended turquoise, which is an amazing stone. But I also know that turquoise is getting hard to find, and because they've shut down all of the big turquoise mines, okay, because it's just about been mined out. And these all belong to Native American tribes. And so they're protecting what they need to protect. Okay, so unless you already have a piece of what you know is really true turquoise or some high quality turquoise, one, it's hard to find, and two, if you do, it's going to be extremely expensive. So what I heard what I was told as you were talking about that, if you don't have that you can actually use blue howlite. Now remember, howlite is white, and any colored howlite is dyed color, right? But here we're talking about what you were talking about with color. Okay, so the color's being added just like you would add color when you dress or what you eat. All of these different ways you can bring color in. So because there's a lot of people, and there was a time even myself, where howlite, if it was dyed, I was like, no, I don't want that. That's been tampered with. Okay, so in other words, it was thought of as less, but they're actually saying that blue howlite, which will be dyed, because howlite is only white and every other color is dyed. Okay, but that's okay, especially for this work, because in other words, you can use it as a substitute for the turquoise, a blue howlite, because howlite, especially with that blue added, actually encourages emotional expression, which is going to help with the throat chakra work. So just FYI there, they shared that in this moment. Okay, now Ariane, we're going to turn this over to you, and Ariane's going to be talking a little more in depth about the 166 dual frequency and some other things that we talked about in the last chat that came in, that's really turning into a amazing frequency. So Ariane.
Hi, thank you. Kobaha mentions sacred work on self. And basically that's what I've been up to over the last few weeks. A couple of weeks ago, Essence retrieved that 166 dual frequency, and she shared it with us, with Krones, and it sort of grabbed me. It struck me right in my heart. And I basically had to stop and say, you've got to say that again, Essence. I need you to repeat it. I needed to soak that energy in. Now, that's happened a couple of times before when I've heard one of the I am keyword phrases and felt it resonate right through me. And over time, I've come to understand that when this happens, it means that it's an area where I have work to do. The work could be for me as an individual, work for me as an individual part of the collective, or work for the entire collective consciousness of humanity and beyond, or all those areas. This is an all those areas frequency. So I had to actually delve pretty deeply into that frequency to bring about for me an understanding of what it means and how it can be of assistance. And I needed to work to bring that ephemeral feeling, that gut feeling, into the physical world, because that's where I live and I work. And if I didn't understand that depth, how can I understand it enough to use it to be of assistance in this physical reality? I'm a person who has, in many ways, fought with my physicality all my life. I'm a dancer. I was accepted into the Royal Ballet School in London, except after 2 years of auditions and interviews, I was told that it didn't matter how talented I was, I'd never succeed because I wouldn't grow tall enough. And they were right. I'm barely 5 foot tall. And that's given me a lot of logistical problems, like how to reach things on the top shelf of the supermarket. It's given me problems within the physical world, just my lack of height. I've fought with my physicality, with my health too. I've had times of severe illness where I've literally had to crawl my way back to a semblance of health. I've had arguments with my mental and emotional health too. I've had 2 mental breakdowns, PTSD, suffered grief. Never forget, your mental and emotional health is an aspect of your physical self. And this is what I've been working on. And so when I heard this I am keyword phrase, and it resonated so deeply with me, I knew I had to work on it. As Essence says, everything is energy, frequency, vibration. That's the other phrase she says all the time. I'm going to have tattooed on my arm. And that very much includes the words that we use. We talk to our bodies. We tell them that they can get better, that they can improve, that they can stop being sick. But we also invariably use words that don't carry quite the right frequency. And so we often get disheartened and very often fail in achieving the health that we seek. I know this. I've worked really hard to get my health where it is, but I also know it's not where I want it to be, where it needs to be. There's something missing, something I'm still not doing right. Now, if you've followed what I do for a while, you'll know it's a pet topic of mine about how the words that we use, how the frequency attached to the words that we use can actually stop us achieving what we want to achieve. The 166 dual I am keyword phrase removes the frequency problems. It literally tells each cell in our bodies exactly what it needs to hear. I've lived with chronic pain for many years. About 20 odd years ago, I was told that I needed to use a wheelchair and I needed a full-time carer to look after me. And I fought this. And although my physical life is amazing in comparison to what was expected, I still live in almost constant pain. So I've been using this I am phrase on a daily basis, like a mantra, for the last couple of weeks. I've also been moving house, which means lifting a lot of heavy boxes and furniture. My housemate's seriously ill and not able to help a whole lot, so most of the work's been mine. And I should be a physical wreck by now. But I actually experienced several pain-free days. It's amazing. It was almost unheard of in 20 odd years. Is this a miracle cure? Do a bit of chanting and all is well? No, not at all. This I am keyword phrase takes the guesswork out of using the correct frequency to aid you in improving the well-being of your physical body. You still have to do the work. You cannot and should not abdicate responsibility for your physical self. That responsibility is yours. For me, in using this 166 dual frequency every day, several things became clear, and I'd like to share these with you. But first, let's hear this phrase again, and then we'll break it down. So, 166 dual. I am physical form perfected. I am somatic and psychic dis-ease experienced and acknowledged. I am healed. So line by line, I am physical form perfected. What's meant by that? Does it mean I have a perfect body, that I look good in a way that society accepts as perfect? Well, no, I'm in my 60s, I'm fat, I'm short, have a heap of aches and pains that affect how I move and what I'm capable of doing. My body is far from what is considered perfect. Yet, I have a body that is a miracle. A body that, despite all the stuff I've done to it, is still very functional. It's a design that has developed over eons to become the perfect vehicle that transports me where I need to go, that allows me to achieve what I need to do. If I want to scratch my nose, I can scratch my nose without even thinking about it. There are so many areas within my body that function in perfect synchronicity, performing the dance that's life. It's a body that surrounds me, protects me, holds safe, the core of what makes me me. I am physical form perfected. I am somatic and psychic dis-ease, experienced and acknowledged. Let's have a look at this one. Somatic, that's to do with the physical body, with the bones and the skin and the joints and all the tissues and things. Psychic, having to do with the mind and the spirit rather than the body. Both mind and body are well able to function at less than optimal. They are subject to dis-ease and illness. There's a belief in this reality, that this reality is a school, a place where beings, souls, starseeds, light workers, whatever you want to call yourself, it's a place that we come to in order to experience and to learn. In this belief, many of us, most of us, will take on the experience of the body and the mind not working at its best, of being diseased. In this belief, we have agreed to experience these things even before we came into this current lifetime reality. I am somatic and psychic dis-ease, experienced and acknowledged. Here we make a statement that we have experienced the physical and mental abilities of our human body not working at optimal. We're confirming that we've completed the lesson. We acknowledge the experience and that it is completed. The lesson is no longer needed. It is completed. Therefore, I am healed. The final phrase, I am healed. Now, I could stop there. I am healed. There is a finality about that statement, isn't there? I am healed. There's no going back once you've made a statement like that. It is an acknowledgement on all levels. I am healed. They're powerful words. Those words put your disease and illness in the past. What I'm not saying, though, is I am healed, but why do I still hurt? Or I am healed, but I'm still overwhelmed by the problems in my life. As we've mentioned several times, there's no separating the physical from the spiritual. And we've come to understand the energetic, the spiritual meaning of this I am keyword phrase for the 166 dual frequency. But the problem is that we are human. Our physical body is human. And yes, we've just acknowledged how amazing a human body is. But we seem to have wandered into a time where we've forgotten that our physicality and our spirituality are not separate things. They're like pylons driven into opposite banks over a river holding up the bridge. The bridge is really wobbly, and we have to do the work to connect those pylons, to strengthen that bridge. Now, within most religions, there are stories of how the master says to the cripple, you can walk. And the cripple stands up, wobbles a bit, takes a few steps, and whoa, a miracle's happened. Now, if I were to say to you, you are healed, you can walk, you'd probably go, yeah, right, as if. Some would say that's because the age of miracles is past. Or maybe it's because human limitations say that just speaking some words, however powerful, doesn't fix the problem. Or the science doesn't pan out. What really needs to happen is that we have to take action steps. Now, I want to give you an example. I mentioned earlier that I've had some pretty big run-ins with my physical and mental health. And I'm going to tell you a story about one of those things. I briefly mentioned it just before. 23 years ago, I was nursing my husband at home. He had terminal brain cancer. And in the middle of the night, I got up to check on him and I decided to make a trip to the bathroom. As I stepped into the bathroom, suddenly all feeling in my lower body went just like that. And I collapsed onto the bathroom floor, paralyzed. I was there for hours until gradually the feeling came back and I was able to pull myself out of that room. The next 2 years saw the difficulties of being widowed compounded by hospital visits, medical tests, drugs, painkillers, anti-inflammatories, and they all had side effects, and I was given more drugs to counteract those. And I still had periods of paralysis. I could be walking through the office at work and the next minute I'd be on the floor. The pain I lived with was horrendous. And nobody could work out what the problem was. And it was very definitely not getting better. One day, my doctor told me that it wouldn't be long until I couldn't walk at all. And it was time to consider finding a full-time carer to look after me and to start using a wheelchair. At that point, I had a choice. I could take that route. Instead, I took the most important action step in my life. And I said, no, that picture you paint isn't me. Now, at that time, every master, teacher, saint, angel could have said to me those words of the 166 duel. They could have said to me, you are healed, until they were blue in the face. And I would have answered, yeah, right, as if. Because I knew, even then, that the only person in the world who could say those words to me was me. I am healed. Did that mean I was healed? No, because my body is human. It needed time. It was energetically healed because I made the choice, the commitment to be healed. I knew the action steps I had to take, but it took time for my body to recover from the damage. Many of us will reach a point where we need to make a choice in which direction to go. We could make the comfortable choice, the one where we know what happens on a day-by-day basis, where things might get a bit rocky every now and then. It's where we feel safe because we're in a situation, however painful, but it's a situation we understand and know. It's familiar. It's our comfort zone. And even extreme pain can be comfortable. Or we can choose to take action steps to change the things that we know need changing in order to affect that healing. That time of choice for the individual arrives every time you have a situation where you know that something's not right. That choice could be something huge, like choosing to stay or to leave an abusive situation. Or it could be that you need to look to your physical health because your comfort zone isn't going to give you a long and happy life. That choice I made that day not to accept that wheelchair was a major pivot point in my life. And I'll tell you more about that in the next chat. But it was that decision and the knowledge that I had to only needed to do the work that pointed me in the direction that has brought me here today, right now. It was that choice, together with almost 20 years of taking action steps, of constantly pushing myself outside my comfort zone, that has allowed me to be in a situation where I can indirectly give back to all of those who've aided me. And I do that through service to the community I live in, to the individuals who make up the collective consciousness of humanity, to the collective consciousness of humanity as a whole, and to me. I, and only I, can heal myself. I cannot abdicate responsibility to others. I must be involved in my own healing. Yes, I can be guided. I can be guided by doctors, by medicals, by people such as Essence. But I, the me who fills this physical body, I have to do the work that's needed. I knew deep within that if I tried to only heal my physical body without commitment, belief, and action, I couldn't heal. I knew that if I relied solely on someone else doing the healing for me, in my case, those doctors prescribing drugs, and I didn't get off my butt and push my body into taking those action steps, I couldn't heal. You cannot separate the physical from the spiritual. Doctors, alternative healing like Reiki or other energy work, or even chanting the 166 dual keyword phrase won't do it, won't bring about a healing if you don't step out of that comfort zone and take the steps you need to do to heal yourself. Healing is not a passive activity. And when you understand that, then you can say those powerful words with the deeper understanding that's needed. I am healed. And as Essence said just before, stress will kill you. eventually I came to understand that what was driving me into a wheelchair, that was making me paralyzed, was actually stress. Taking that pivot point and coming to that deeper understanding was essential for me being here today. So we've got to take those action steps and get off our butt and do this work. Thank you. Back to you, Essence.
Thank you, Ariane. Thank you so much. What an amazing share. What amazing information. Truly grateful. Thank you. One thing I want to, that I caught that sounded blah, blah, blah. Why is my mouth and my brain, they won't communicate right now. Okay. I wanted to share this that came forward while you were sharing what you shared there. You were talking about the choices that we make. And I think you did touch on it later on, but when you first mentioned it, it's not only choice. Yes, we have to make the choice. We have to make the choice of taking responsibility for our physical form. But beyond that, we have to make it a priority. It has to be first a choice, and then to following that choice, it has to become priority. Now, that doesn't mean, oh, I have priority. I am the priority. Don't take this to the point of self-centeredness. This is what I'm hearing to share, that, maybe some people might interpret this to mean. That's not what that means. Okay. It still means you have to do all these, but you have to become the choice to actually walk your talk, to get up out of the chair and to walk and to do all of the things necessary for you. Because every individual, that journey is going to be, there are going to be a lot of things in common. And we're going to be talking about over the next several chats through the rest of this year, a lot of things from the physical to the spiritual. We're going to look at this. Remember, we're going to be turning this around and coming at this from the physical aspect and allowing the spiritual to follow. The physical, I guess, in one way of saying that is, we're going to take the action steps. We're going to understand that this physical form is every bit as spiritual as is any other thing that we see or believe or hold a perspective of as being sacred. This is truly a sacred temple that we are inhabiting. The meditation we're going to do to end this chat, I believe, will go a long way in helping that understanding to become more real in your physical world, where you cannot separate the physical from the spiritual. Like I told you, you're going to get sick of hearing me say that. Okay. So choice and priority. First, there's a choice, yes, but you have to make that choice a priority. So that, that is the responsibility. You have to step up. You have to, it's not going to be easy. It's not, we would all, when we first started this chat, I remember now at some point I'm hearing myself say that I've seen a lot of changes in the last 45 years in this belief system, and not all of them have been positive or beneficial to the individual or to the collective. And one of those, to state it very simply, is I have seen people do exactly that. They say, oh no, all I have to do is chant. All I have to do is talk, say the right words. All I have to, no. There has to be an action step. That is the physical. That is the physical. Okay. The age of miracles is not over. You are the miracle, but you have to make the miracle. You have to manifest it, and you have to move it into manifest form. You are the miracle. I am physical form perfected. That's a miracle. Okay. I am somatic and psychic dis-ease, experienced and acknowledged. That is saying, I honor the experience that I have had. We can honor even the experiences that, it's easy to honor the experiences that are beautiful, to us, that are easy, that put smiles on our faces, okay? It's harder to acknowledge and honor the experiences that test us. But those are the things that move us. That move us to become and manifest the miracle that we are and that we're capable of becoming. You are the miracle. Never forget that. Okay. So that's a lot shared right here this evening already. So I'm going to go ahead now, unless there's anything else that the other two Krones have they want to say here in this moment. Okay. If anyone has a question or anything they want to ask, go ahead and type it into the chat if you don't mind, and we can address it hopefully later. But I want to talk about now real quick, because I want to go ahead and start moving into bringing this chat to a close. So I want to talk about why, okay, going back to all the wonderful information that Krone shared about stones, but especially clear quartz crystal, and why we are recommending this work, starting here, one of the stones as an Arkansas clear quartz crystal. Why Arkansas? Now, I do want everyone to understand that if you do not have an Arkansas quartz crystal, any crystal will work, but there's a specific reason and you'll understand why. And I also want everyone to know, I'm going to do something that's really kind of outside of my comfort zone and not something we normally do on these chats, okay? When I got the information, it was actually from Navari about using the Arkansas clear quartz crystal. I wanted to have a couple of links to share with everyone who, if they wanted to purchase one, you know, could go to, and in other words, I was willing to stick my neck out and say, okay, I would trust this site. Because you remember, there's not a, you know, there's not a ton of integrity out there these days on stone. So people are selling things that aren't necessarily what they say they are. Okay, so that's what I was looking for, a couple of sites that I could say, you know, put my name on and say, yes, I trust these sites. Well, what I found when I went in search of that was, one, I couldn't find sites really that I was looking for that I'd known about for a long time. Because like I said, I've been on this journey a long time. I've been buying crystals a long time. But beyond that, I was absolutely shocked at how expensive they've gotten when you could find them, Arkansas clear quartz crystals. So long story short, I have a good friend who deals in crystals, stones, and all this kind of stuff, who I know for a fact is trustworthy, and I know for a fact that these stones are Arkansas quartz crystals, okay? They didn't come from Brazil or Africa or Tibet or anywhere else. And not that there's anything wrong with, I love those. I have a bunch of those too. But this work is recommended, not an absolute necessity. I want that understood, okay? I do have some here. I actually called this friend and I told her, I said, this is what, you know, my guides have given me the information and blah, blah, blah. I told her everything within a price range. I will tell you the price range is within, I'm going to show you 2 or 3 of them just so that you can see. If you are interested, you contact me privately, okay? But I asked for a price range from about $15, $17 to $100, okay? So they will vary in price, but that's the price range that the few that I have, okay? So if anyone's interested, just contact me privately. I'm going to go ahead and show you these, and then I'm going to explain why Arkansas clear quartz crystal. Now, bear with me as I try to get these in front of the camera where you can see them. Well, good enough. This is a really nice cluster, little cluster. Is that showing up for everyone? I can't really see. I'll tell you what, let me turn on an overhead and see if that helps, if there's more light in the room. Just give me 1 second. I don't know, this may or may not help, I'm not sure. But this is a beautiful little piece right here. If I can just get it in front of the camera the right way to focus. And obviously I can see it's not doing it justice there. That's pretty good focusing in. Okay, there's that. And, you know, if you're interested, I'll take pictures and send, or you can just say, hey, you know, I'm looking for something in this. Okay, here's, for an example, here's a nice little kind of pocket size, double terminated piece. You can see. Now, some of these I have record keepers on them. Some of them are Isis crystals. I mean, some of them are tabbies. Here's like a little tabby. This is actually an Isis tabby. This is a really nice little crystal. I wish I could get this, you know, lined up with the camera better. I'm not sure where that magic point is. Okay. Here is a druzy cluster plate. That's just amazing. Well, these little plates like this, they are very delicate, but they make great little charging plates, I found. You can see both sides of this is just absolutely covered. And let's see if I can get, okay. There's also something, these, this is a good friend of mine. Like I said, these come from, this is actually what she calls awakening crystals. Now, a lot of these crystals, she even dug herself. Okay, so like I said, I guarantee these are from Arkansas. This one is already spoken for, but I'm going to show you. This is what's known as an awakening crystal. These were crystals that she dug several years ago. We were trying to remember, her and I, we think, if we remember correctly, in 2010, we actually, when she cleaned these and they set, we actually saw them awaken. And I'm telling you, I promise you, I cannot get this anywhere near where it does it justice that you can see this. But this is the only place from this lady that you're going to find these awakening crystals. They, just FYI, these run price range from probably around, I'm going to say probably the cheapest is probably around $20 to up around $50 or $60, depending on the crystal. Okay, I want to say this is the largest piece she sent me. Another, you know, you can see by my hand, it's a good size. It's another big druzy piece with lots of points on it. Another great charging plate. The druzy is amazing. It's such a, you know, beautiful. Okay, so like I said, this isn't something we normally do, but because we are recommending the Arkansas clear quartz crystals, and because of what I found and the fact that they're getting harder to find, and be really sure that you're getting an Arkansas quartz crystal, and the prices have gone up so much. Believe me, these pieces like this, as an example, this little piece right here, this little double terminated piece goes for, this is what I found when I looked. This is why I called her. I had no intention of doing this. I was just going to give you all a couple of links to go to. This little double terminated piece right here that is selling for 17. What I found online was running $30, $40, $50. That's why I was like, my gosh, it's gone insane. Everything's gone up so much. Okay, so now that's enough of that. Like I said, if you're interested, just private message me. Okay, why the Arkansas clear quartz crystal? Here's the reason. You all understand, or the vast majority of you follow my work, understand that we're in this collective dark night of the soul that's related directly to the 17.8 ATKI, which is the Atlantean technology karmic imbalance, right? Which is collective karma that was created in Atlantis with the misuse of sacred technology, just to say it simply for those who may not be familiar with what I'm talking about here. Well, the Arkansas crystal field, okay, this large area in Arkansas is known, is the largest quartz crystal field on the planet. It and Brazil run really close, okay? Now, and I'm talking about, but where those crystals come from, during Atlantis, in Arkansas there, or on that land, you got to remember land, reality was very different, but that was a huge, one of the largest, if not the largest, crystal generators in Atlantis, going back to what Kabaha's talking about, that literally helped power the civilization. And with the destruction of Atlantis, it was destroyed. So this crystal field, all these crystals are pieces of that Atlantean generator. And so that's why Navari recommended, because the best thing we can do, and I talked about this several chats back, even I'm pretty sure back in 2020, when I started talking about the Atlantean, the 17.8 ATKI, and what we could do as the individuals we are. So the best thing that each of us can do as the individual we are to assist the collective with clearing and rebalancing this 17.8 ATKI, this collective karma related to Atlantis, is to clear our Atlantean karma, our personal Atlantean karma. And that's not a one-time thing. That takes cycles upon cycles. It's like you clear some, and then you go along, and then it will come back. There will be more. I mean, I myself personally know that I have been clearing personal Atlantean karma that I know about for myself since about 2009. And finally, and I'm not saying it's going to take that long for everyone. I'm just saying it's a process. It's a journey. Okay. It's not a one-time thing, but these are where we're at now as a collective. It's highly recommended. Okay. At least by my guides and the work that we do and I do and that IKoK does, that you use an Arkansas quartz crystal if possible. If it's not possible, if you don't have one, if you're not sure, but you have another quartz crystal, use it. Okay? All right. That is why the Arkansas clear quartz crystals. I can tell you that I do know now that right now with this journey in this year, the second year of the work of the IKoK, and like I told you, we're being shown step by step that we're basically putting together a year-long course of this work of, doing the physical work and allowing the spiritual to follow, and therefore the expansion will be accelerated, okay? Because it's simply time. And by the way, we'll be talking about this more. I want to throw this out there. This work that we're talking about, stepping outside of your comfort zone, working from the physical and allowing the spiritual to follow, is a major part. But we had a lot of information but it's just going to have to wait for the next chat because we've been going long enough here. Is a major part of the rebalancing of the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies that has to be done. This is major part of it. Okay. So with that, I believe we are going to get ready to move into ending this chat. I want to thank everyone who's attended live. Thank you all so much. We're always so honored that y'all are a part of this work. We understand, and we also want to honor each and every one of you, because we know whether you're here with us live or you're joining us in no time, no space, we honor each of you for the work that you do as the individual you are, and also for being a part of this group collective conscious mind work with the IKoK. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do for this collective. with that, I want to go ahead and let's go ahead and let the other Krones, I'm going to let you go ahead and say your goodbyes and your thank yous and all of that, because we're actually going to be doing some hand yoga to finalize. And this is our chat, and it's so appropriate. Oh, before I go, here's your homework. Almost forgot to assign your homework, everyone. Here it is. Between now and the next chat, what we would recommend working on is clearing, rebalancing, and strengthening all 7 chakras within the physical form first, okay? Then, because if you start work on the high heart, okay, especially if you're brand new to work on the high heart, and you haven't got those chakras in balance and in alignment, you're just spinning your wheels. Bottom line, you're just spinning your wheels, okay? So every time you sit down to do and focus on some high heart work, run through those chakras first. Get them aligned, get them balanced, get them open. And when I say open, I don't mean, and we'll be looking at this in other chats, you know, in more detail. But I think the vast majority of you are probably fairly well acquainted with what I mean when I say aligning and getting your chakras. They need to be vibrating at equal rates. They need to, that's an alignment, okay? Like not one really open and one slightly open and one closed, okay? You need to feel into, and this is a part of the work that Kabaha was talking about. You know, she recommended a sound meditation that she uses that helps. Those help a lot. They help a lot. Sound is an amazing frequency tool. Okay, but beyond that, you still have to have intention and clear. You have to remember, you can't separate the physical from the spiritual. And we're going to actually suggest, if you're not already, we're going to be talking a whole lot more about actual physical movement in subsequent chats and what we mean by that. Okay, but remember the tapping, okay, on the thymus gland. After you've aligned those 7 main chakras, okay, then do that tapping. And you can actually use that along with gratitude and mindfulness, okay, to bring you into balance and center, and then start breathing and doing some work. In other chats down the line, we'll do some very specific, you know, meditation and energy work, just as an example, you know. But everyone, they're always, like I said, only kind of starting points, and then you make it your own, okay? So 7 chakras, activating and working with the high heart, getting there, and then go ahead and start working with that 166 dual frequency in all of this, okay? And let's work on bringing forward and around, up, however you want to look at it, your personal Atlantean karma that's ready to be cleared, okay? We can look at that in more detail in next, you know, maybe the next chat, and maybe go through that, maybe go through a meditation to help with that or something like that. But go ahead and start looking at that for yourself, okay? And seeing what you feel that might be that you need to do, okay? Even if it's nothing more than working with your clear quartz crystal and setting that intention and breathing through it. And let's also not forget that for those of you who are participating in the 108 days of collective bliss meditation, we've just started that. We've got a long way to go there. So thank you for everyone who's participating in that. That's an amazing. So once again, I've actually had someone ask me earlier, how do you say that? So I'm going to once again, just say that a couple of times. If you all want to join yourself, you know, still muted, you're welcome to. But that chant that we're using for the 108 days of collective bliss meditation is Om Akara Parinama Anandaham. Om Akara Parinama Anandaham. Om Akara Parinama Anandaham. That's an amazing chant. I love that one. Okay. Ladies, other Krones, would you please go ahead and say your goodbyes and thank yous very quickly? Okay, Ariane?
Hi, thank you for joining us today. I just want to mention one final little thing about the 166 dual. Do work with it. I do strongly advise it. I've had a really unusual experience with that and how it works, something not expected. All those 20 odd years of pain have also damaged my sleep tremendously. I rarely sleep longer than an hour, and then I wake up and just comfort sleep for another hour. So, you know, I'm usually sleep deprived. For the last week or so, I have actually slept 6.5 hours straight, not a movement. And it's a huge benefit for me. And I put that directly onto doing that work on self whilst using that frequency. So I do recommend it. Thank you for joining us with a lot of information today, and we'll see you next time.
Well, what can I say? What an evening. I loved it. The energy was wonderful. And we learned hopefully a lot of information sharing. What sprang to mind, and I know Essence mentioned about it, the important part to remember is the work on self. Not only is going to have a positive impact on you, but also on the collective consciousness of humanity. And the other thing I wanted to add, and I know we talked about it with Essence and Orion the other day, I've done it when I bought crystals at the beginning. You buy a lot, you don't do much with them. Please, please, please try to sit down even for 5 minutes and hold them and connect with the energy of the actual crystal. Because one thing we're going to learn more and more during the year is working with energy, the physical as well, to connect to those energy centers and feel them and know when they're unbalanced to do the work we need to do. So just think about that. Just try to connect to your favorite crystal, sit down and just feel the energy and see what you're getting out of them. Well, again, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and I'll see you next time.
All right, thank you all so much. And yes, Kabaha talked about we're going to be in the next chat going a lot deeper into how to work with crystals, you know, and stones. So, and what that all entails. Okay, so we are going to be using a mudra for the inner self. Okay, the mudras are known as hand yoga. All right, now I'm probably going to have to turn around to get my hands to show you this correctly. But what we do is you place the tips of your index ring and little fingers, okay, all these fingers together, the 4 fingers, all right, and then the balls of the hands. You see how that is? All right, now, and then but you want to kind of cup them. You want them a little cupped, but you don't want a big gap, okay? You want it, you see this? Okay. Now, the thumbs, I'm trying to see, the thumbs like here. You see what you're doing? You're creating like an avenue, like a street, if you will, and even like a temple. All right, it's so basically you're just, okay, you've put your fingers together from this direction, okay? And you see how it's just slightly cupped, all right? And then you bring the thumbs, just lay them together, and then just set them inside of that, okay? All right. Now, this is a mudra of the inner self, but what we're going to do is even beyond this, okay? Now, this mudra symbolizes the inner nature of being human, of the human being, okay? So if you may need to like do this like I found it best like when I okay, now you see, I want you to see how I've cupped. All right, you see this? All right. But I still have just this narrow. Okay. All right. So what happens when you do that, and it's I found it easier to sort of aim this at a darker spot in the room, if you will. Okay, so now we're going to hold our hands up at forehead level. And if you see, you can, there are two spots, that's what I find, that you can look through. One is right here. You see that? Okay, well, and then the other one is above the thumbs. There should be a little opening even above the thumbs. Are y'all finding that? You have to find kind of the right lighting to see it. Now, just hold that mudra here. And I want you to look through first that lower, larger space between the hands. Don't hold the hands too close to the face. Just, you know, allow your gaze to soften where you can look through that, and you will see a shape. All right. And then look through that smaller space above the thumbs. You actually are looking through this part right here. Okay. Do y'all see that? And if you can't find that smaller one, because remember, everyone's hands are different. Everyone's hands, this is to connect with your inner self. This mudra symbolizes the inner nature of human being. All right, now what we're going to do is I want you to stare without blinking as long as you can through that little window of light. And obviously, we're not going to do this as long as you would be able, you know, would do this when you're doing it yourself. I just really want to teach you how to do this. Okay, because what you're doing is you're connecting to your inner self. And I did this earlier, and because I haven't done this mudra in a very long time, and when I asked them what we needed to do for this evening's meditation, this was what I was shown. This is to connect to your inner nature, your true inner nature. Now, once you blink, okay, so, and you know, you'll do this more and more with more practice, okay, longer and longer. Once you've finished that, okay, then I want you to bring your hands in that same position, just down about an inch below your chin. Where does that land? It lands at the high heart, does it not? It lands at the point of the high heart. Okay? This is the spot that, according to the ancient mysteries, it's the place where your soul resides. Right here. Within and without outside of the body. You cannot separate the physical from the spiritual. Now, once you've done this, you start paying attention to your breathing. Inhale and exhale slowly through the nose. And once you have followed your breath into that place of calmness and centered, you begin with every out breath, you chant. And as you continue to do that, you let yourself be carried through that little opening, that little doorway into your true inner nature that you saw between your hands, into infinity, into the great mystery, into the miracle that you are. This mudra is like a prayer without words, a silent meditation, a devotion to the divine within you. Follow the doorway of your infinite self. And within your hands, you create the temple of your soul. And there you exist. Om Akara Parinama Anandaham. Om Akara Parinama Anandaham. Kara Unche Prana. Kara Unche Prana. I am the ancient future breath of life. Kara Unche Prana. Who